Pilates teacher trainer, YMCA level 3 diploma in teaching Pilates. I'm Paul, I'm a teacher at Pilates, and this is Tanya. She does the cleaning, I think. I'm not sure what she does. This lesson's on postural assessments. There's other lessons on this one as well. Postural assessments from the lateral view. Lateral just means side, I just thought to show off, that's all. So we're going to do a side view of the postural assessment. We'll do one from the rear, one from the front, and one from both sides. For brevity's sake, we're just going to do the one side. You would, however, do exactly the same on the other side, just for balance, because people know always we're not symmetric, asymmetric. So from this side, what are we looking for so-called good posture? We've already warned our client that we want them to stand, or warned them's a bit harsh, isn't it? That we want them to stand as their body wants them to stand, not as they think they want them to stand. So in other words, people start standing like Superman because they're doing a postural assessment to try and get the bodies in a natural position. We want them, they want to stand like Quasimodo, they stand how their body wants them to stand, so we can actually fully assess what's going on in the bodies. And remember, as you do this, you'd also be thinking always, what muscles could be causing it to be that position? What muscles are weak, strong, inferior, dominant, whatever phrase you want to use, the different imbalances that there might be in the body. And next, you also want to be thinking, what Pilates moves, what Pilates moves, could you be doing maybe to correct that and to get them in so-called good posture? So what are we looking from the side view? Keep this basic, keep it relatively simple for the level 3. Roughly the ear, once they come in, if you had a plumb line, a straight line, I used to do postural assessment, there's too much hassle. You don't really need to at the level, certainly a level 3, but you can do if you really want. Plumb line down, roughly from the earlobe, the front of the shoulder, to the greater trochanter, the actual hip bone, roughly to the front of the knee, and to the lateral malleolus. Basically want to form roughly a straight line, nice plumb line. Plumb line just means a straight line up and down. And what any deviation away from that is considered not to be optimal or so-called good posture. There's not really such a thing. So, from the side, what are we looking for? What are we looking at? Is the head jutting forward, just jutted forward? And again, you'll have a check sheet and you can just mark off. We'll give you that. So again, what muscles might be tight? What could be causing that? Probably one of the biggest ones actually. What could be causing that? What their occupation, their sport, their activity? I'm putting pathologies aside, soft muscle tissue. So, what's happening to the head? Is it jutting forward? What's happening to the neck, conversely? What's happening? Sometimes they become, as they jut forward, these muscles long and weak, these ones short and tight. And just put your head back. So think chin tuck, stuff like that. But I'm not going to go here about exercises per se to correct. We're just talking about posture. So what's the ear doing in relation to the shoulder? Is the chin jutting forward? What's the spine of the neck doing? Next I'm looking down at the shoulders. What are the shoulders doing? What do they appear to do? Are they rolling forward? Or are they back? And again, which muscles could be causing that? Which could be strong, which could be dominant, which could be weak. Next, I look at what's generous. So I've looked at this part of the spine. Now, what about this? How kyphotic, if at all they are, they might not be kyphotic. The majority of people tend to be kyphotic. And in this sense, I'm using kyphotic to be an exaggerated curve rather than a normal kyphosis. You've got a normal lordosis, which you should have, a normal kyphosis. The whole shape of the bones are such that it should be that shape. But people have exaggerated curves in there. So, again, what could be causing that? Pathologies aside, what muscles could be tight, what muscles could be weak, what are their occupations or sport or activity or job that they do. So, stand normal. So, what's the chin doing? What's the neck doing? What's the shoulder doing? What's the upper back or the thoracic spine doing? Then I look down at what is happening here. Have they got a natural lordosis or have they got an exaggerated curve? Along with that, I'm looking at, can I see whether the pelvis is anterior tilted forward? So again, what muscles are you looking at that maybe need stretching off, or probably more correctly, less dominant in the body, because we're trying to control the body with Pilates. So then I usually look at, don't need to go to this level, put my thumb there on the posterior, on the basically just by the dimples of Venus to the side. There's posterior, inferior, superior iliac spine. Was it posterior, superior iliac spine? PSIS anyway. And then I put my hand on the ASIS, anterior superior iliac spine. And I'm looking, ooh, so they're basically levels they shouldn't be in an ideal way. So Tanya's deformed. She's not, be careful, you want to say. Actually, on a side note to that, you have got to be, some people you've got to be so diplomatic. Just mention, oh, see, your right shoulder's a little bit forward. Oh, you measure with pillared them, and some people can be really touchy and temperamental. And you normally have got a better bedside manner. And I'm usually saying, oh, just an observation, just to let you know that it looks like, possibly, perhaps, perchance, the shoulder's a bit, some people are really touchy. So I'll tell you this before. So that is basically, if anything, slightly, I wouldn't say rare, but slightly rarer. Like this, pelvis on this side, the ilium on this side, is slightly back more than it wants to be, putting more the hamstring dominant in, which is slightly rarer, but not rare by any standards. Ideally, what we want is the ACES to be
special.
Oh yeah, very special, yeah. That ACES wants to be lower, slightly lower than the posterior iliac spine. This is more involved than you need to know this part of it. As a general rule, you just look at what's the lordosis and what are the pelvis doing. Does it look like the pelvis rotated forward or is it rotated back? As a general, you tend to get a little bit flatter back when it's rotated back. There can be other things going on. What's called a flat back. So then what I look at is what is happening to the knees. Do they appear hyperextended? Just one thing I'm looking for. Now a lot of that can be down to the feet. I guess a lot of podiatry, it's Pilates, not podiatry, can have issues with regard to is Aquinas foot, and there's different types of Aquinas foot. Aquinas just means horse. So when I personally do a postural assessment, I usually have them lying down as well, but that's just me when I do one-to-one with people. And you can look, I'm looking at the feet then, the shape of the foot can make a massive difference. They've got Aquinas foot, and effectively they will be hyperextended, and again, it's something called the kinetic chain. You can have a problem down here, which theoretically could cause problems and issues up here, and vice versa. But usually the feet are, I wouldn't say the cause of a lot of people's issues, but certainly where they're visiting the feet, don't ignore the feet. But just go for the glory parts. A lot of the time, the issues here can be caused by what's happening in the feet. So the shape of the foot can have an effect on being hyperextended. It's worth visiting the foot just to see if it looks unusual. Someone say, "Oh, then you're deformed, you're hideous." So, and that's basically it from the side view. Any questions? So, I'm used to saying that's a good reply. So that's postural assessment from the side view. You would also then, for brevity, I'm not going to do another video doing the other side, but you will be looking at what I'd be keen to look at on Tanya. I'm not going to do it now. Is that, oh God, turn around face to the side, stand as your body honestly wants it to stand, which is obviously hideously deformed. And now it's not much difference, but it's a little bit better. It's in a little bit better shape that we want. The ACES is slightly below the level of the posterior superior iliac spine. Again, that's really above, say, boogie paper, I think. But Pilates instructors at level 3 don't really need to know that. You're just letting, so a recap and summary from the side, and arms down by the side. You're looking for that basic plumb line. Here's the earlobe, roughly to the front of the shoulder, roughly to the back maybe of the hip joint, to the knee, and to the lateral malleolus. There's a form roughly a straight line. And what deviates from that? Usually the head jutted forward. What muscles might be tight? How could you correct that with Pilates move? Shoulder, is the shoulder rolled forward? Is there an imbalance between what you saw on this side and what you saw on the other side? What's happening to this part of the neck as well as that part of this part of the spine as well as that part? Is it kyphotic? Is it a flat back? Is it a flat spine? The lower back, have you got a lordosis, an exaggerated curve? What appears to be going on with the belly, or with the pelvis I should say, is it tilted forward? The knees, are they hyperextended? I can't really tell too much from the side in relation to the foot, well I can't at my level. And that's the lateral view of the postural assessment. So again, don't forget to do both sides. I'm Paul, this is Tanya, lead Pilates teacher trainer, YMCA level 3 diploma. And see you for the next lesson. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.